Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy Network Trial of Satanic Panic. If you don't know what we're doing, I don't know how you got here. But basically,
They Googled Satan. Satan.
pretty much, our good friend Jim McClure, the guy who's above me on the stream, from the One Shot Podcast Network, does Talking Tabletop, the Satanic Panic actual play, among many other things, is kickstarting an RPG called Satanic Panic. And the rest of us are all members of the RPG Academy Network, and we are going to be players, and we're going to go through a live version of the game, so anyone watching can get an idea of what the game is like, how it would play at your table, decide if it's something you would want to play as well.
It is.
So we're going to start with Jim. You can kind of introduce the game, what it is, and then we will go through and introduce our characters when we get ready to start playing. So I'll turn it over to you, good sir. Jim, take it away.
Thank you very much, Michael, and it's good to be back here at the RPG Academy. Although now I'm like having to do this with like cameras and looking at me and all of this. It's all special and high tech and shiny and new.
Yeah, you were holding us down. As soon as you left, we upgraded.
Listen, it was a joke the first dozen times I heard that. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, I think it's true.
No comment.
You've given him a complex. There's an achievement in that for you.
But we are here to play a game. And as Michael said, this is a new game that I designed that is on Kickstarter currently at the time of recording this, and of course at the time that this goes out live to all you wonderful podcast people. And the game is Satanic Panic. So I want to set you up for what this game is. I want to get you in the mood and the spirit for what we're about to experience. It's the late 70s, early 80s, sometime in that time range, and there's whispers going around about this new thing called tabletop. No one really knows what it is, but people are saying all kinds of things about it. They're saying it's summoning demons. They're saying it's turning people into monsters. Like a secret wildfire, it's spreading from basement to basement across the heartland. This thing called tabletop. And the game takes place in this fictional late 1970s, early 1980s, where all of these whispers are in fact true. Tabletop is actually bringing evil to the world. It is actually summoning demons, and we play government agents tasked with stopping the spread of tabletop. So that is going to be our wonderful setting here for today, and I guess I'll shoot it back over to you, Michael, as you four are going to be our team of agents tasked with handling this uprising of tabletop in Middletown, Ohio.
Excellent. So again, my name is Michael. I am the co-host of the RPG Academy podcast, the flagship program of the RPG Academy Network. And for tonight's game, I will be playing the tactician, which is one of the roles that you can assume when you play this game. My character's name is Reginald. He is about 28 years old, sort of thin, long blonde hair that he pulls back in a ponytail. I assume that's regulation for our government ops, hopefully.
Absolutely.
And he has kind of like big, circular glasses, kind of like the Harry Potter glasses that they're gold rims. And he doesn't have a bearing of like being a military person. He seems almost kind of unsure of himself, but he's got a great mind for tactics, which is why he's on the team. And I'll turn it over to Kendall.
Oh no! Wait! We've got one more question first. When was Reginald's first ever encounter with tabletop? Could have been in this organization. Could have been prior to this organization.
So he had a near miss when Reginald was 12 years old. He went to a summer camp, and he wasn't the most well-liked kid. And one of the counselors was setting up a game of tabletop, and Reginald wanted so badly to be part of that game, but he wasn't invited. He was clearly not invited to go. And thankfully, that actually saved my life because none of those kids were ever seen again.
Fair enough.
How old is Reginald?
About 28, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that time frame work out with when we are versus when tabletop started?
We are playing in a world where Gary Gygax made a deal with the devil to bring 20-sided artifacts into this world because mankind is incapable of formulating a 20-sided device. I think we can fudge the years a little bit if we don't fit exactly right.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So now, Kendall, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say Gary Gygax. The Mad Wizard Gygax. I apologize. Don't sue me, please.
My name's Kendall. I'm with the Redemption Podcast, a proud member of the RPG Academy Network. Just because Michael makes me say that after every time I introduce the podcast.
You know, I came up with that line, and you give me so much crap around this network.
You're cornered, Jim. You have no recourse.
Yeah, if you would have stayed, you could have sued. But now all those nickels are going to Michael now.
Shouldn't have signed that non-discrimination.
He has a throne of nickels, too. I've seen it.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
Tonight I am playing Aaron Willis, who is a reformed tabletopper and the team's pet monster. Aaron was a young, impressionable child when he first was introduced to tabletop, but then he went undercover, spreading the taint even further, and that's where he actually met Reginald. He was the camp counselor who was running the game that Reginald was not invited to because he was too cool.
You saved my life.
He actually went swimming without a tank top on or something like that. and was the kid that everybody talked to, so he wasn't allowed to come to the game. So I guess I'll throw it over to Quinn.
Excellent. I'm Quinn Wilson, host of the Swallows of the South podcast, also a proud member of the RPG Academy Network. And today I'm going to be playing Federico Bautista, who is an inquisitor. He's about 54 years old, but it's a rough 54 years old. He moved from Puerto Rico to Trenton, New Jersey as a young boy and has basically lived his life as a career cop. And when a local tabletop circle got too big for its britches, he realized he had to follow this thing down to the bottom. So here he is today.
I have a story that is not suitable for the mics about Trenton, New Jersey, and how much I hate that town specifically. So apologize to all of our listeners from Trenton, but live in a different location.
Do not expect me to represent Trenton, New Jersey well.
There's only 3 of them that have computers, so...
This show is going to be all about just completely unabashed Trenton hate for no reason.
Oh, there's a reason.
Oh, there is. Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, and Scott, bring us home.
All right. My name is Scott Brown. Howdy, all you kids out there in Radio Land. I, of course, I'm a longtime contributor to the RPG Academy podcast, and most recently a host of Lawful and Orderly, the cornerstone of our Twitch stream at the RPG Academy. And I am playing Inca Dink, the former military enlisted recruit who she joined the army. She was a soldier, and she had a near miss where she thought she was doing some innocent gambling with 2 6-sided dice, right? And then pretty soon somebody got out a 3rd 6-sided die and started talking about probability curves, and that's when shit got real. And ever since then, she's been ever so slightly scarred, but she's also dedicated her life to eradicating this tabletop menace from those who might accidentally get curbed to it from a regular saintly life of gambling.
Yes. And with that, let's talk a little bit about the world that you all are going to be interacting with, because you all as a team are going to be sent out on a mission to stop the spread of tabletop. There's been a report of an uprising in Middletown, Ohio, that there's a suspected family of tabletoppers that has moved in. But we're going to get more on that later. We have to understand the world that we live in. And what is a tabletopper? A tabletopper is any person who has rolled a 20-sided artifact. Again, we are incapable of creating 20-sided artifacts. They have all come from the other side as part of this deal. So anyone that has rolled a 20-sided artifact has become a tabletopper. Legally, a secret government law that the rest of the citizens are unaware of has stripped all constitutional rights from a tabletopper. They have absolutely no rights whatsoever, and you are allowed to handle them with impunity. Okay? Now, If they are a standard, good, upstanding citizen that is perhaps just a comic book shopper, that is perhaps someone that just likes playing board games, that perhaps has just rolled a 3d6 for a probability curve, they are still good, lawful citizens, and you better not harm them at all, or it will cause a massive issue. Once they have rolled a d20, they're a horrible monster that you can kill without any remorse. Haven't rolled a d20, must protect them at all costs. Fair warning, tabletoppers look exactly like us, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to discern exactly who is a tabletopper and who isn't, but that is why you are highly trained agents, because that is your mission to be able to do this. So that is what a tabletopper is. A couple things that we need to know. You all as agents in field, obviously, you never ever touch a d20. You are allowed to touch the other artifacts that you'll find. Their playbooks, their character sheets. You are allowed to handle those. It's advised that you don't get too into handling those, but those themselves will not turn you evil. Only the d20 will. If you ever encounter a d20, you have to call in your cleanup team to handle it, and they will handle the entirety of dealing with the d20. So I would make sure when you go out in the field, at least one member has a radio. We'll get into equipment, all that, because you will need to call a cleanup team, and this is the 80s. You do not have cell phones.
I have to assume, though, that Frederico has got a unmarked d20 that he carries with him in case we accidentally shoot somebody wrong. We plant the d20 on them.
No, that would be hard. We'll get into how the proper way to handle a d20. But if he was carrying one around, that would be horrible.
Maybe a d12. Right.
Maybe.
I mean, it's
no,
as close as you can get.
But it's like planting the gun on somebody. Like if we shoot somebody that wasn't a tabletopper, we plant a d20 on them.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. We're already planting evidence on civilians we have not murdered yet. All right, this is good. So that's the couple things we need to know about tabletoppers. So how we identify a tabletopper, there's a couple things that you need to look out for. Obviously, signs of tabletop paraphernalia is one of the common things to look for. In stressful situations, typically, like, I have no idea what everyone is holding up. Oh, dice.
It's our easy roller dice.
It's product placement.
I'm starting to get concerned. There may be tabletoppers on this very podcast.
Where?
Horrible. I apologize. I should not throw around those accusations that lightly. So those are the couple things. When tabletoppers get in a stressful situation, they will go into a blood rage, and you will see they will have glowing red eyes, typically when combat occurs. So pay close attention to that, because again, you cannot kill civilians. Do not kill civilians. It will be a really, really bad thing. Couple things we need to know. We're going to explain kind of mechanics as we go about, but there's a few things you need to know about. One being, there is a meta mechanic in this game, and that is the d20 that I hold in my hand. There is one d20 that will sit in the imaginary middle of the table, if you will. If we were playing this next to each other, it would be sitting in the middle of the table, and it is going to start at the number 10. Throughout the course of the game, actions will happen that will cause that die to increase in number, or perhaps decrease, but mostly increase in number. If it ever hits 20, all hell will break loose, and I promise you, as the GM, I will try and murder each and every one of your characters. That is the rules of the game. If it ever hits 20, I am to try and murder your characters, okay? But you have a way to mitigate this. At any point, any one of you can choose to pick up and re-roll that d20. It is the only time throughout the game you will ever roll a d20. And it will be reset to whatever number that it lands on when it's rolled. But I want you to go on your character sheets, because on the second page of your character sheets, you will see a section towards the top that says corruption numbers. You are going to write down 3 numbers, any 3 numbers you want, on the top of that character sheet that a d20 could roll. So 1 through 20. Do not reveal those numbers. Those numbers are secret to everyone, and that is your susceptibility to tabletop. If you pick up and re-roll the d20 and it lands on one of your numbers, you will get a point of corruption, and we will explain that when it happens. For the sake of this podcast, if anyone gets corruption, go ahead and shout it out. In the actual game, you have to keep it a secret. You cannot let anyone else know how much corruption you have. If at any point any of your fellow players know, you lose the ability to gain team benefits from any of the other players because they no longer trust you. So that is our meta mechanic of the game. Throughout the game, you'll hear me call it up. I'll say the D20 goes to 12, or it goes to 16, or hopefully I don't say it goes to 20. And then if anytime we re-roll it, you'll just roll one of your local D20s and we'll reset it to whatever the case may be on that. The other mechanics, I guess we will kind of explain sort of as we go along. But it'll be a fun little romp here. Yes.
I apologize. I missed that. I know that if we roll the d20 and we hit our corruption number, that means something. If the 20 just goes up and lands, like, so if it's, say mine's 18, it gets to 18, that doesn't mean anything special.
Doesn't mean anything.
Okay,
Likewise, if Scott re-rolls the d20 and hits one of your numbers, Michael, doesn't mean anything for you, Michael. Only means something to the person who chose to re-roll it.
Perfect.
Who took one for the team.
Gotcha.
Exactly. And as I ban the Exorcist class from this playtest, you all don't have any other ways to mitigate it, so it's only going to go up in numbers. Yes. So we're going to jump into this. This is going to be for those listening and especially listening on the podcast and watching the stream. It's going to kind of be interesting because we're going to start off with a little role play here, actually, as we sort of start the mission and you all get the mission briefing, and then we're probably going to kind of sequence where we have to do requisition gear. And that's not something, I mean, you all may go crazy and role play it, but typically it's something that's sort of held in a normal conversation type thing, and then we'll go out on the mission. So it'll be sort of an interesting little back and forth, but you have to get your mission briefing first. So let's pick up with that deep in the deep inside a secret base somewhere within the heartland of the United States. There is a long hallway that leads to the office of Glenn Dotson. Glenn Dotson is your commanding officer. He's the one who leads your agency, and the four of you all have been called into his office because you have a mission to go out on, another mission to protect the world from the evils of tabletop. You're led into his office. He has a giant wooden desk that takes up most of the middle. He's sitting propped back. He has a cigar that he's actively smoking. Smoke fills the top foot of the room. As he's enjoying it, you see three other cigar butts sort of just dabbed out. He's got the pocket handkerchief that he's wiping down his forehead some because it's hot in his office. Finally, about time you all showed up. Reginald, get in here.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
Explanations. What happened? Last mission, Tampa, Florida.
Ooh, well, first of all, we went to the TGI Fridays, but then we found the swarm of tabletoppers. It was the YMCA basement, and basically the walls of the YMCA was still there when we left.
Basically is an interesting word because I think Inca has some light to shed on what basically means. Inca, how would you classify basically in your mission briefing?
That grade 3 artillery shells do not puncture cement walls.
They
However,
did a decent job.
Puncture roof pretty good.
Yes, they did. Now I'm a little bit confused because we don't have artillery in our requisitionable items. I have no idea how you got that. I really want to know. I don't want to know. Actually, I have no idea.
That's for the best.
Frederico, I thought you were the one that was supposed to keep these people in check.
I was doing my best, okay? I had everything under control until they sidelined me, had to speak to the director. I asked him to wait in the car. It's a simple directive. Wait in the car. They cannot do it. You've hired children, and I cannot take responsibility for children.
Are not.
No. Aaron, we talked about this. I'm making it so that you don't have to stay in a crate, but I can always revoke that privilege.
Are not children. We are not children.
He creeps me out. Does he creep anyone else out? Weird. You stayed there. Do you all have any idea how much a YMCA costs, by the way, as he's flipping through pages in front of him on the table?
$2.78 million in current year monetary findings.
The one in Trenton must have cost 50.
I never want to hear a damn word about Trenton again. That Trenton operation was a catastrophe in a town that's a catastrophe.
Trenton
hear the argument
YMCA
here.
is only cost $372 and $2.
That is oddly specific and very accurate. I don't know what you do on your downtime, Aaron, but just keep it cool. We can get past this. Our budget is shot right now, but if we have a good mission, we can get some extra funding from the higher ups, and it all should be good. Luck would have it, we have another group of tabletoppers popped up once again, the Midwest, where these things seem to breed. Middletown, Ohio. We spent a lot of time in Ohio. There was an academy of ones down there that we had to take out. A horrible, horrible cesspit. All four of you shook your head in unison. That was phenomenal. A horrible, horrible cesspit that we took down there before, but they're springing up again. So here's our operation in Middletown, Ohio. There's a new family that recently moved to town, the Johnson family. Now,
Sounds like an alias to me.
could be an A-list. We don't know that much about them. What we do know is that their neighbors, their good upstanding neighbors, have reported that they are a very secretive family. And they're regularly holding parties on Friday nights that they're not inviting their neighbors to. Yeah.
This is not like the
justice
wife
courteous.
swapping thing in Trenton, is it?
Everyone talked and I heard nothing.
That isn't like the wife swapping party we ran into in Trenton.
It is not. And I'm mad that I wasn't invited to that, frankly. Like, not that we need to go that deep into that sentence, but I just put it on the record and remind yourself. But no, we
Noted, we
discussed,
will invite you to all wife swapping parties we run into in the future.
as we discussed last time, the thing that I care about is the fact that we are not killing wife swapping parties unless they are also rolling 20-sided artifacts. Refresh my memory. Were they rolling 20-sided artifacts in Trenton?
So much is rolling around in those places. I don't know what's what.
I know what's what, and there was a D20 to be found, and we had 14 dead, upstanding citizen perverts that we can't have that happen again.
To
Okay?
be
Look,
fair,
I
it was
believe in
difficult to
drawing.
sort through the debris from the artillery shell.
Listen,
It was, and for the record, I just need to restate that I draw strong lines between my professional life and my personal life, so I don't have to disclose anything that happened at that party to you.
listen.
Legally.
That's fine. And I think Inca just explained to me why I have a transportation bill of $2,800 to move a piece of artillery from New Jersey to Florida. And I don't want to see another one of those. I don't want to know where it came from. I don't want to know where it went. It better not be here. Listen, we're getting off track.
Well, I mean, but to be fair, though, it would have cost more if we still had the shells. It was actually lighter after, so the transportation costs were significantly reduced.
I assure you, Reginald, that those spent shells cost way more than whatever savings you had in transportation.
Next time we will use UPS.
Why do I do this? Mission focus. We are going to contain, control, and eliminate the tabletoppers in Middletown, Ohio discreetly. Discreetly, okay? So, what we're going there to do is we're going there to check on the Johnson family. Now, Johnson family, we have a nuclear household. We have a mom, a dad, two little ones. Need to go and find out what's exactly going on with them. They live on 280 West Street.
So if nuclear household, do we need the nuclear weapons?
No, we don't, Inca. We have discussed this at length
That
in
means
your
they
job
have-
interview.
That means they have 2.5 children. He has not told us what sex the 0.5 child is.
Could be
This
the
one.
dog.
This one, you're getting crate time when you get back from this mission.
I think we would all appreciate that.
Okay. So on 280 West Street is where the Johnson family lives. Now, there's a couple other points of interest. There's a local comic book shop called Open Page Comics on 222 North Main Street. Now, as we all know, comic shops are not illegal. They don't necessarily spread tabletop, but they often collect tabletoppers. So they are always a point of interest when we're going out and looking on these missions. So that would definitely be one of the places I would recommend checking out as part of your investigation is Open Page Comics.
You know, I did want to ask, I've actually put in several times that maybe we should start opening our own comic shops as a way to draw them to us. I've not heard back on that yet.
This guy can't fund a trip from Florida to New Jersey. You think he can open a comic shop in this economy?
Reginald, I know you like comics, and that's fine as long as that's as far as it goes. We're not opening a comic book shop. We have like 200 20-sided artifacts in the basement. And what's going to end up happening, especially with people like Aaron running around, is we're going to end up with a D20 there. And then how in the world am I going to explain that I'm turning people into tabletoppers? I can barely explain Aaron as it is. I legitimately have you on the forums as our mascot. They think you're and I don't mean like a person, like you're a piece of equipment that has a lot of upkeep expenses for no reason. That's only going to fly so long.
I would like to thank you for not making me dress up in the large white beagle costume. That was a very embarrassing 2 months.
Spout one more statistic and you're going back in the beagle costume. No comic book shops, no artillery shells, no destroyed YMCAs. Is that clear? Middletown, Johnson
and no
family.
Statistics.
No statistics. Middletown, Ohio is comprised of 22,000 people.
Sir, that is a statistic.
God damn it. Crate. Get in the crate. Shoot. Someone throw him a dog biscuit. Okay. Johnson family on 280 West Street. Open Page Comics, 222 North Main Street. Additionally, there is a Father Reinhardt who runs the local church, the Solid Rock Church. Now, he is of particular interest because we know the Johnson family has started attending his church, as well as he has a youth group that he has been reported that they are starting to run a games night within their youth group. Now, we naturally hope this is wholesome. And yes, hopefully there's no issues with this, but it is something that we need to look into as well. So those are going to be your points of interest for this investigation, as well as whatever other information you uncover along the way. So the Johnson family house located at 280 West Street, Open Cage Comics on 222 North Street, and the Solid Rock Church and Father Reinhardt on 75 North. Can we please try and keep this under control this time?
We can absolutely try, sir.
That's exactly what I expected you to say, Reginald. Federico, keep them together. No one get hurt. Everyone fine. But let's not kill people that are still people.
We will do our absolute best. I will try every trick in the book, but sometimes, and we've talked about this before, sometimes you want to win a war, you've got to salt the earth.
This is not the war where we're salting the earth. This is not the one that's happening in. I don't know what war you're talking about.
Tell that to the Tampa, Florida YMCA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You salted the YMCA. The YMCA is salty. That is a statement of fact. Go requisition the gear that you need. Go to Middletown. Take care of these tabletoppers.
Okay, before we go to requisitions, I have a question, because this is something I always get confused about. You guys have implemented all of these new systems since I came here, and I'm an old-fashioned guy. Do I have to go to a separate window to requisition the milk duds that I'm supposed to feed Aaron to keep him pacified, or is that one window and two forms?
This is it is really simple. I do not know how you don't get this. All you do is you go downstairs, you go to the main window, you requisition the gear that you want to requisition. You then fill out a second form, hand it to him. He's going to stamp it. You're going to take that upstairs to the library. They need to stamp it as well, because again, he's what? Not a person. He's a mascot. He is a piece of equipment. Then you're going to take that down to the local candy shop. You're going to put out about $2.50 from your own pocket, because I would like some too. Bring that back with the form. Bring your receipt. You can put it in this file cabinet right here, and he puts a trash can on the table. And then you'll get reimbursed in 4 to 8 months.
Okay, I think I remember all those steps.
It's really simple.
I wrote them down for you.
I got it.
So we just got done a bunch of I'm going to put wonderful in air quotes role play. You all are wonderful people. And now we're moving down to requisitions. So what happens at this stage is you all are going to equip yourselves with whatever you think you will need for the mission. So I think each of you should have the inventory list in front of you.
Indeed.
Yes, and I am going to help facilitate this. So how this works is you all have a budget. This budget applies to the team as a whole. So as a team, you have $2,000 to requisition gear. Whatever you requisition is the only gear that you're going to have on this mission. Once you leave to go to Middletown, Ohio, you can't get anything else. Okay? There's no reason to hold over any money, so by all means, spend it all. You will see there's a list of gear. There is guns, there's non-lethal weapons, there's grenades, there's miscellaneous stuff, all of the above. So what you all want to do is go through as a group and figure out what gear you want to take with you on the mission. There's a couple things I want to point out to you as you're looking at this equipment inventory. And that is, one, you do have basic transportation. You have black cars that will get you from point A to point B. You do not need to spend any money to get that. However, you will see there's a whole big section on like vans that have their own special abilities. The other important thing that vans have is they let you have the ability to actually take prisoners. So if you do not requisition a van, you cannot take any prisoners, for whatever that means. So you do not have to have one to move from point A to point B, but they do help you out in the other ways. The other thing, other than our horrible, horrible monster tabletopper friend, Aaron, the other three of you should have at least one gun or a non-lethal weapon. Everyone should have something, because there's essentially no other way that you can defend yourself and deal damage if you don't have one. And more than one weapon is very advantageous within this system. So at a basic level, everyone should have some way to defend themselves from the horrors of tabletop in front of them. I single out Aaron because you actually have powers that let you deal damage without needing a weapon. Although, again, a weapon can be very advantageous for you as well. But you all as a team can decide what you want to do on that. The other thing I want to point out, once we get into combat, we're going to explain like how range and spread work. The important thing to understand is most combat is going to happen within range 1. That means fighting something in the same room as you. If a weapon cannot target anything in range 1, that is a severe disadvantage of that weapon. So just as you're going through and picking out stuff, you should know that to go through, because you're going to look at a rifle and go, that sounds amazing, and then see that it only has range 2 and 3, so it has the disadvantage because it doesn't have range 1. But other than that, that's all you really need to basic know. Go wild, pick through the gear and what you all want to do, and then just shout out with what you pick, and I'm going to sort of help keep track of the overall budget as we go.
What is our budget?
Your budget is $2,000 as a team.
As a team.
As the whole team has $2,000 to requisition gear.
So I think the most important thing we can requisition is a heavy assault rifle for me.
Well, let's start small and work our way up.
So 2 compact assault rifles for me.
I would point out that you may want to have medical things again this time. I remember picking up Inca several times. She kept falling over.
So I noticed the van doesn't actually have a cost. It just says
Yes,
dice.
it is listed as dice.
Oh, is it a dollar amount?
No,
it's
it just says dice.
Oh, then that's horrible. I will tell you what the van costs are, because I have them in front of me, and I have no idea why that version doesn't have these, and hopefully there aren't other horrible errors.
So many pages to this inventory.
You should have 4, maybe more, because they changed the formatting on me. But your wrapped van is $100. Your armored van is $250. Your quote unquote black van is $300, and your surveillance van is $450.
All right. I think we should go with a surveillance van. I think that would be. I mean, we don't want to try to be seen. We don't want to recreate what happened in Tampa, though that Fridays was amazing. But I think that's a cost that we can spare.
That sounds good.
Not going to argue on that one.
All right.
Then
Surveillance van is requisition. You have $1,550 left.
All right. So we all should have a personal weapon. So like a taser or a pistol.
Grenades?
Not what I said.
Oh.
beanbag gun. That sounds fun. So we can each get a basic pistol, and by each I don't mean Aaron. The three of us can get a
Hey.
basic pistol for $100 each. That's not bad.
I prefer to go more of a, tactical pistol, maybe with scope.
I will say that the people of Trenton didn't call me the snake for nothing. I always carry a heavy pistol.
Okay, I'm fine with that. So heavy pistol and a tactical pistol.
With
Can I have a beanbag gun?
You get a taser.
All right, real quick, because you're all looking at the heavy pistol. Whoever got that, of course, write it down in your inventory and go ahead and note what range, spread, and dice and capacity that it has on your little character sheet. And what was the cost of those two? I don't have the full inventory up in front of me.
The heavy pistol's $250. The tactical pistol with scope is total $200.
Okay, so that's leaves. So those two pistols have been requisitioned. You all still have $1,100 left.
So I want a basic pistol for 100,
Okay.
and then Aaron gets a taser for whatever the taser is, 200.
Okay.
Do
So
we need
y'all have-
long-range radio?
Yep, you all have 800 left. The radios, note they work like radios, as in if you all want to, you need at least one to communicate with the cleanup crew. But if you all would like to talk to each other over a distance of like a town and split up the group, you would need more than one radio, as tends to be the case. So that's up to you all, though.
I don't even see the radios. I might see
They're on
them.
page 3.
$50.
Yeah.
Two radios?
Actually, I might be nice and try and save you some money. Let's see.
Short-range radio?
It should be on there. I'll give you the surveillance van counts as it has a radio to it.
Oh!
So just as a note, anyone with a radio can communicate to the van, and the van can communicate out to people with radios as part of what the expense of the surveillance van.
So maybe one additional radio?
I say we go for 2. Just in case we both have to break away from the van.
All
We're
right.
not splitting into more than 2 groups.
All right.
Because I do not trust anyone to oversee you guys that isn't Reginald. And he's on thin ice.
And
Thin
the
ice.
the medical kit? That you had a good point about the last time. That was good.
You freaking kids have no constitution. Have you ever heard of the phrase walk it off?
Rub some dirt on it. I'm
So
liking this.
keeping
believe-
track, just real quick, you all did requisition the 2 radios.
Yes.
Who is holding those radios? Put them in your inventory. Which of the 2 of you?
Reginald will take one.
And I will take the other.
Cool.
Okay, so $700. Keep going.
I like the idea.
Did we requisition that taser?
That taser has been accounted for. Yes.
How about one of these concealed microphones? We could plant the microphone and listen into the game night and see what we're dealing with.
That does not sound bad to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could make a lot of use of that.
And then we could top that off with night vision goggles for a 25 to round it out to an even 100. One
Sure.
set, so only one of us can see.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, I like those. So that leaves you all with $600, and whoever's getting the night vision goggles, and whoever's getting the concealed microphone, note those in your inventories.
Night vision goggles.
I'll take the concealed radio.
I have my blanket, but you guys might want some armor.
Before we get to that, again, worst case scenario, we can walk it off. We are going to need some means of entrance. So maybe we don't forget the lockpicks this time?
That's what shoes are for.
Yeah, lock
Boots.
Lockpicks, and then
If you're not going to let me have a shotgun, then a lockpick is good.
Equal. They both almost do the same.
how much do we have left?
$600, but I have not accounted for the lockpick. How much is that?
50.
50.
So 550.
All right, $550. So three things to consider with your ever shrinking budget. One, no one has any heavy firepower in the group. Everyone has pistols.
The heavy assault rifle that I wanted is 550. That could nicely round out the budget.
It could. No one is wearing armor, and there are no health kits within the group yet. Again, not things that you necessarily need, but just observations.
Armor's expensive. I like the walk it off plan.
Yeah.
What's everybody's defense? Mine's 8.
6.
8.
6.
And just to note how defense works, when I attack you, I roll a d20, and if I roll at or higher than your defense, I hit you.
So we're
Hey guys, have you ever considered the prospects of buying armor?
I've been reading up on armor, and I think armor is good.
It turns out that walking it off hasn't been proven in the medical journals.
So if we get 3 body armors, that's 300.
That's no more assault rifle.
Yes. So it's offense defense plan. Are we?
I love how it's always 3, like, and we know which one's not getting armor.
Hey.
Like, we don't want an armored and armed tabletopper, and still, he's walking a fine line. He could turn tables anytime. Not turn tables, like it. And I don't want him wearing body armor and having a shotgun if that happens.
So what's the deal with the beanbag gun's non-lethal damage? Because it does way more damage than anything else.
Well, to start with, you only think it does more damage than anything else. But non-lethal damage in this system actually works essentially entirely differently. Anything that does non-lethal damage, like the taser, it does 2d12 non-lethal damage, which is a lot. But non-lethal damage, when you roll it, if you roll equal to or higher than their current hit points, they're knocked out, and you can then capture them after. If you roll less than that, though, it doesn't do any damage to them whatsoever. And it was essentially a wasted attack. So what happens is you have to weigh, and some things that you want to take alive, you might have to hurt with lethal means before you slowly break them down. The other thing is your guns that deal damage, like, your pistols that do a D6 or D4, you'll see that they have a capacity, which is a number of shots. You can empty them entirely in one round if you so choose. So you can have a D6 pistol with 6 that you deal 6d6 damage still. Why would you choose to deal less? Because there's something called collateral damage that we will get into as we play the game.
Awesome. All right. Well, we need to figure out our last bit here. So are we going to do 3 armors? Because that's no assault rifle.
4 armors.
No. But
4 armors.
We have. How much do we have left again?
550.
550.
550.
50, that's 250. That takes us out of gun range. You guys get 2 armors, and I'm getting a big gun, and we'll call it quit. How does that sound?
Works for me.
Cool.
All right. So who's getting the body armor? And that leaves $350 in the budget after the 2 body armors.
I'm taking armor.
And I'm taking armor.
Okay. And then $350 left in the budget.
And advanced
I'm going to
rifle's
ride around.
400.
I'm going to ride around on Reginald's back.
Oh,
I was going to say, you could always choose to trade back in your pistol and just have the heavy weapon.
that sounds like a really bad idea. But thanks for suggesting it. I appreciate that. That's a common. I do that too as DM. Like, do you guys want to do this really bad thing?
I'm just saying, going out with only pistols, I will warn you, is probably a poor choice.
No. I think the move might be. Yeah, why would I get a tactical rifle if the tactical pistol is basically better or as good that I already have? 350 shotgun. How's that?
Shotgun.
Deals 2 collateral damage every attack.
Every attack.
You can't be
That
a
does
surgeon
not
with shotguns in this.
It does not solve a range problem.
I got a scope. Put my scope on the shotgun. We're fine. Technically, that works. As far as I can tell in the rules, that is not an exemption.
I will be surprised if you walk back from this mission with both of your eyes.
Oh no, it says shotguns are exempted. Son of a...
Look at that. I was like, I swear I put an exemption in that.
Damn, Jim.
I do love I'll put it this way.
It
even though
doesn't specifically call out beanbag guns.
I will put it this way to you. If you want to have a scoped shotgun, I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I would totally allow it.
How about I take the scope and have it on my pistol?
No.
I'll carry the scope around and use it.
For what?
Although Scott
It
also
increases my range.
Scott, to note, again, giving you wonderful devil's deals here. You've got $350. You could choose to not have that scope and get what? How much was the scope?
50.
50.
Yeah, and get the advanced rifle instead. The advanced rifle doesn't have range 1. It only has range 2 and 3. Does that mean I have to back up?
Possibly.
Like, whoa, hold on, bad guys. Hold on. Oh,
We don't have any
oh,
melee weapons either. Do we need some like batons or
Not unless you
anything?
just want to kill everything.
I mean, we do have the one taser.
You do have a taser.
There's other gear. There's
Does
like
does the
there's-
taser have charges?
No, it has infinite ammo.
we could get some sleeping gas or some truth serum.
It's almost like there's more stuff than you could buy with the budget you were given.
Hmm.
Like if it was higher, it would be better.
I don't know. I think that means that the game's broken.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like there's some way to increase your budget over time, and that's how you actually level up in this game.
Look at that.
And it's based on the amount of collateral damage you do in a mission. Yeah.
No,
So
so
collateral
shotgun was
damage
a-
is bad.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes, it is.
Real bad. Then tactical rifle, we got $50 left. How's that sound?
And let's take a baton. We need somebody
good
that
to
can at
me.
least get into a fight. Do you want that, Federico?
Sure.
Since you're the cop, you're probably the one that knows how to use it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got all of our gear. For the wonderful sake of podcasting, why don't we do this so that way Michael has an option? Just one by one, just run down what gear you requisition, and that way, Michael, when it's all said and done for the podcast, if you want to edit out all of this and just go, I requisition this, 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 and this, or if you think the banter is entertaining enough, you can leave it. That way you have the choice.
That works
So-
for me.
Michael, what did you requisition?
I have a radio. I have the covered or the concealed microphone, and I have a light pistol.
Light pistol.
Or
Aaron,
basic pistol. Sorry.
what did you requisition?
I managed to get the taser away from everybody without them noticing. And they probably noticed the first time I actually use it on myself to see if I can still feel something, and I can't.
Oh, is that literally the only thing they let you have?
Yes.
Wow, you all are horrible people. But actually, I take that back. He's a
Oh,
tabletopper.
He's
not
a
person.
tabletopper. He's,
Don't worry, I'll turn on them in the end.
and you won't have a shotgun and body armor when you do it.
Frederico, what did you requisition?
I requisitioned a heavy pistol, an extending baton, a radio, as well as some body armor, and I put in an invoice for the rights to Johnny Cash's Hurt in the event that Aaron does turn on us, so that we can soundtrack that in.
And actually, I had
forgot
body
my
armor as
notebook.
well. I forgot that.
Okay, and Inca.
Inca requisitioned a tactical pistol with a scope on it, obviously, because that goes on the pistol. A tactical rifle, night vision goggles, and a really badass smirk. In addition to some blazing sunglasses and a toothpick. Or match, maybe.
All right, and then on top of all of that, of course, you all did spend a big chunk of money on. You have a surveillance van as well.
Yes.
Remember what our surveillance van can do? It can hold up to 4. We call them passengers, quote unquote. They're not allowed to leave because you all are not the passengers. Those are the people that you pick up. It also has a lot of surveillance gear to it. It has a long-range listening dish so that way you can listen to conversations sort of just inside walls of buildings.
Oh, we bought one of those separate. We can get $50 back from that.
Additionally,
It's a different thing.
you all got a concealed microphone, one that you can, one that you can plant somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
But we gotta go in and get that one when it's done recording.
You do, yes. It is old timey. Like, hey, here's my hidden recording, just a little bit, and then I have to go and get it and play it back. It does have night vision goggles that are equipped to the van itself, so you can't take them with you, but you can see night vision out of the van. And it can set up wiretap. So if you have 30 minutes, you can tap a phone line and be able to listen into any conversations that come in and out of that particular phone line.
They see us rolling.
So
they be playing.
Shotgun.
No shotgun. You do not get a shotgun.
No,
We've been
I'm
over this.
sitting in the front seat.
No, you're not
Oh.
sitting in the front. We're strapping your crate down, and I'm keeping you,
Did you
dated
get you
on
didn't
milk
get my
duds.
milk duds. Where
No,
are they?
We have Twizzlers and Mountain Dew, and then we
Milk
lead
duds.
you to the cage and throw it in.
Milk duds.
And Mountain Dew.
Milk duds.
We're gonna need to stop at a gas station. I can't do this. We need milk duds.
And Funyuns.
Milk duds. This isn't a negotiation.
Fine.
If you're a good boy, we can get Funyuns on the way home.